I'm Penny Douglas, and I just wanted to do a quick live to talk about an easy way to homeschool. I used to teach in public school a long time ago. I taught for about 5 years, first grade, and I enjoyed my first graders. They wore me out, but I loved them, and I learned a lot of good methods for teaching reading because I was teaching first grade, and at that time we taught them how to read in first grade. I think they do that in kindergarten more now. But I started homeschooling after I had been teaching 5 years. Then I was pregnant with my first child, and I wanted to stay home with my kids, so I quit teaching in the public school, and then I heard about homeschooling and started homeschooling my kids when that first one got big enough for me to do something with. And at first I tried to do things the way I did as a teacher in a classroom, and my first son was not too happy with that approach. He didn't like sitting at the table with a workbook. He was a boy. He wanted to be active, and I had to learn along the way. I had more children, and I was homeschooling all of them, and what I found out made it very easy for me to homeschool all of them was to read aloud a good living book. Charlotte Mason would call a living book one that is written, the whole book is written by one author. That author has a passion for the subject and is an expert on it, knows a lot about it. And the story, it's written in more of a narrative form, a story, and it pulls you in, and it just causes you to really experience what the story is about. And so I started finding living books. I found book lists that were full of living books about whatever topic we wanted to learn about. In history, in culture, in geography, all those things we were able to cover through living books. I would read aloud to my older kids, and then as my younger kids came along, I would sometimes read an easier story for them. But the book that I read to the kids did not have to be at their reading level. I could read it to them so they were able to get that story even though they weren't able to read at that level yet. So I read books, many books to my kids over the years, and then I would put a unit study together, just a basic little unit study. Sometimes I would get other books related to the read aloud that I was reading to them about that same time period, that era in history, that subject, if there was something from geography or science or something that was included in the story. I would find other smaller books that they could read, the kids could read themselves, and we make a little unit study, or we would read several books about about the land of China or Japan. And that was actually one of our unit studies that we did. I had a lap book, and it was about China, or it was about Asia. So that was everything. That was China, that was Japan, that was India, that was a lot of countries. It was a huge lap book. So we were working on that, and we were reading stories from the Sunlight catalog, from the Sunlight curriculum. I just looked up their read alouds and their readers that the kids can read at their reading level. And I checked out lots of those books about China or about Japan. Those were the main countries that we studied. And there were many books about China and Japan in the Sunlight catalog. And so I got a bunch of those books from the library, and I read several of them aloud to the kids, and the other books were there for them to pick up and read if they were interested. We did that lap book. Some of my kids really got interested, like one of my daughters got really interested in Japan, so she went off on her own tangents, her own rabbit trails, and learned a lot about Japan, how to speak Japanese, how to write it, and wants to go to Japan someday, and all the art and media and stuff from Japan, all the movies and music and everything from Japan. But that was a unit study that we did, and the others my one son got interested in the samurais and their weapons and stuff. So that just went all kinds of directions that I had no idea was going to happen. But it was a very simple way. It was enjoyable. It was fun. We enjoyed reading the stories. They were so good. We still remember them. That it's a common memory that we have, experience that we have with books, that we can say, remember that book. And I often will say, which story was it that had the little boy that had to go up on the mountain and he had to take care of an egg. And my oldest daughter especially always remembers what I'm talking about. She always remembers the name of the story, the title. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there to you. That's an easy way to homeschool. You can use a notebook. You can keep notebooks. Each of your kids can have a 3-ring binder with page protectors in it. And you can find worksheets online that are for free and have pictures that go with whatever topic you're reading about and studying about. And they can fill out the worksheets and then put them in their notebook and keep it, and that's your study right there. And it's a great way for them to learn a lot and enjoy the learning. And they can keep their notebooks and have those in there for years, for the rest of their lives, and it can be like a keepsake. So that was a unit study, reading aloud, making a unit study from what you're reading, keeping a notebook, doing lapbooks. Those are all great ways to make the learning interesting to them, enjoyable, and just a great shared experience for your whole family that draws you closer together, a bonding experience, making memories that will last a lifetime. So that is my idea, one of my ideas for an easy way to homeschool that is a lot of fun. Thank you.